Hi guys, welcome to the show. Today we have with us Bella. What's your last name, Bella? Or
Di
whatever.
Pietro.
Doesn't matter. I'll just call you Bella. So I don't know why I asked that, but this is Bella. I'll let you introduce yourself because I don't really know a whole lot about you. And yeah, just go ahead. Why don't you just tell people a little bit about yourself and where you're from and your background, and we'll go from there.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Bella. I'm born and raised from Iowa. I'm 21 years old. Um, and I've been walking with the Lord since my senior year of high school. So I graduated in 2017. So that was like 3 years ago. Well, I guess it would be 4 years now. Um, I was baptized in the summer of 2017, or it would have been the spring. Um, But I'm just glad to be here. I don't really know what else to say to introduce myself. Oh, I'm going to college. That's cool. So, sorry, I'm kind
Oops.
of
Yeah.
awkward,
Cool.
guys.
Okay. Thank you. That was great. Thank you so much. So, you had some interesting dreams lately. I heard. Hey, they were like reoccurring dreams. You were saying, cat.
I'm sorry, you were cutting in and out there. What'd you say?
Do you have anything open, Bella, that might be draining your bandwidth, like YouTube or Facebook or anything in the background?
Yeah, maybe
Sometimes, if
both of those things.
yeah, sometimes if you close those, it'll definitely help the Skype connection or the StreamYard connection.
Okay. Um,
Cool. So I was just
yeah.
asking you, or sorry, you heard what I said about your dreams and stuff? When did all this start? A little bit of a delay, I guess. Hello?
I'm sorry. My computer's still being junky.
That's okay. It happens during live shows. Why don't you try leaving and joining again?
Let me. I'm gonna actually real quick try and switch my Wi-Fi real quick and see if that helps.
Okay, cool. My cat has lots of food there for her. Don't worry. He's just a whiner. I buy my animals the best food they can buy. It's called Origin. Costs like $65 a bag. It's all biologically appropriate, like sourced from ingredients that they would eat out in the wild. They've been eating that their whole life. It's like literally the best food you can buy for your animals. My animals are treated better than most human families. I would bet to imagine. Bella seems like a really sweet girl. She's having a little connection problems, but that's okay. She's gonna change her Wi-Fi signal, and hopefully she'll have a better connection when she comes back. Hi, Bella.
Hi. Okay, that sounds a lot better. Hopefully that
Cool.
works.
Yeah, you sound better now. It's not as much as a delay, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay, Bella. So thank you for coming. You're doing awesome, and I would just like to ask you when these dreams started, and maybe you could just tell us a little bit about these dreams that you were telling me about on Facebook there.
Yeah, so I feel like I've been getting dreams from the Lord since I was like really little. Like the earliest dream that I can like look back on and like remember so crisp is just me walking down the hallway at school with like this yellow envelope folder because we this um like this principal office job ever, and I just like remembered it and I was like, oh my gosh, that was a dream. Whenever I try to tell like my family growing up that like, oh, I dreamt about that, they were always like, oh, that's just deja vu. Like everybody gets that, but they just wouldn't listen to me. So I've just like had several dreams over the past several years of the Lord, but they didn't really like hit my soul as much recently until I graduated high school because it turned more different from me living my everyday life to seeing like just these crazy things going on in life. And one night I was just laying in bed, and that's when I reached out to you and sent you that message about I had recently. And I don't know why, but I had to do that. And that dream I had, when was that? That was like a couple months ago. I feel like I had it. But you just want me to go ahead and start? It started off with I don't know where, but I was like, it was like all cement everywhere that I could see, and like there were so many people around me, and people were in like a bunch of these like white tents, and like people were, I don't know if people were living there or if they were there for like some kind of service or event or something, but like I kind of drew a picture of what it looked like. These little tents that I have here.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And you said you
They were
seen
just like row. They were.
something
I'm
with the
sorry. Go
stars
ahead.
too. You seen like a crazy star constellation, didn't you?
Yeah. So this is what the Lord showed me first. Were like these rows of people in these tents, and we like all walked outside and just sat down on the ground, and some people stayed in their tents, and we looked up into the sky. It was like a normal sky, like the moon was there, but it didn't look normal. Like it was like a bluish color, and then all of a sudden, like the moon just like, I don't know if it went black or if it disappeared or something. Like it was just to my recognition, like it was just gone.
That's crazy.
And like the stars did this like weird thing where like they all started spinning like really really fast, like encircling where the moon was, um, which is kind of what I did here with these lines. If you guys can see that, like I put that in the middle to show you that like the moon was gone. But like they kept like going, like these shapes here in the middle, like they kept going in and out of shape, and it was all stars just forming this stuff here. And it
Very
was so weird because I just didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what it meant, and I just really prayed on it and meditated on it with the Lord, and I did a lot of research to try to figure out what it was, and I just couldn't figure it out on my own. And I messaged my dad, which my dad comes from like a super Christian background. He's not Christian anymore, sadly, but um, his family grew up in the church and like were pastors themselves. Like they went and lived out with the Navajo and like preached to them. And so I
wow.
was like,
That's
okay,
cool.
I'll just ask my dad and see if maybe like, yeah, it was really cool. They lived in like an igloo out there, which I didn't know you could have like an igloo in the desert. But anyways, I was like, I'll just ask my dad. And he was like, that looks like cuneiform. And I was like, cuneiform, like that's like there's no way that it was like cuneiform because like I don't even recognize that. And so after some further research, like I just like I couldn't believe what I was reading because like in my heart, like I knew that it was crazy. I'm sorry. I'm kind of getting tripped over my words here. I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's
Before I
okay.
get to that part, I want to tell you guys the rest of the dream. So after the star thing happened, like I'm not sure what happened, but like it like flashed like a movie scene to a different part in my dream. And like people were running around like crazy, like frantic and freaking out. And I'm not sure what happened, but people were just like hiding and like trying to cover themselves and get to wherever no one will be able to see them. Like I saw a group of people like running inside this building and like they like hid underneath these stairs, like that was going to protect them from something, whatever they were running from. But then like my dream flashed again to like I don't know where I was. I know I was in a car somewhere and it was super bright outside, but I didn't recognize where it was. And I saw this person, I would assume, in this like super tall, full armor that was like white. And like it almost, it wasn't like any astronaut like armor or whatever that we see today. Like it was really different looking. But anyways, sorry, back to the star thing. So after some research, I think I agree with my dad. It's cuneiform, and after some further research, the cuneiform with the stars that I found, which is like if you look really super duper close,
Mm-hmm.
they look like stars and like triangles or whatever. Um, Sorry.
That's cool that you actually drew this. Cuneiform. I should look. I don't even know what that is.
Cuneiform. It's Cuneiform. But after some research, like there's like different forms of cuneiform, and like
There it is.
yeah, go ahead and pull that up. That's super awesome.
Kanani808 says, thank you for sharing your testimony, Bella. Thank you for the super chat, Kanani. You send me super chats every day, Kanani. I don't want to break you. So I feel bad. Isn't anybody else going to super chat? This one girl, she super chats me like every day. I mean, I appreciate it very much. I feel bad for taking all your money. Okay. So yeah, she says, thank you for sharing your testimony, Bella. You guys, I'm going to bring up this cuneiform stuff. I'm going to screen share it. How do you say it, Bella? Cuneiform? There it is. Did we lost Bella? I'll ask her your question when she gets back, Melvin. Looks like she had something wrong with her connection. Poor Bella. Like, she's a little nervous. She's only 21. She's doing good though. Let's see. That's cool, Melvin. She had the same kind of vision you did. The white tents are like real trippy, eh? It sounds like refugee camp. The government's just like hoarding people into tents and stuff. That's what sounded really cool to me. I'm sure she'll come back here. Doesn't it sound the same, Nick? It does, kind of, Melvin. Yeah, it does. I'm gonna ask her about the desert when she comes back. Oh no, Sam. This is called cuneiform, and this is what Bella thought she seen in her dream that she had, and it kind of does look like it actually right here. The way these kind of triangle-ish like squiggles or whatever, she drew it. When she comes back in, I'll get her to show you what she drew in the dream that she had. There she is. There you are. Hi, Bella.
Hi. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. It's not your fault. It happens. Can you see my screen? I brought up the cuneiform. Is that what you called it?
I can't see what you posted up there now.
Oh.
But is it white? Did you just look up some picture on Google?
Why can't you see it?
That's what I did.
Why can't you see it? Can't you see me sharing screen? Hold on. I'm going to try it again.
Yeah, I was saying you were sharing the screen. I just couldn't see what you were sharing.
Oh. Well, can the audience see this? I don't know why you can't see it, but that's fine. Maybe you have a weird micro tablet or something. Okay. Anyway, I got it up on the screen, Bella. So why don't you keep telling us your... Oh, yeah, hold up your picture. So now that you guys can see the cuneiform, can you hold up your picture again? Bella? Okay, I'm going to make your screen big. Hold on. There. Okay, look at that, you guys. You see? See those like triangle-y squiggle things? The blue and dark blue ones? It kind of looks to me like the cuneiform here. It's cool. Cool. So Bella, one of the people in the chat was wondering when you seen all those tents out in the wilderness, because this guy had some weird dreams too. I want to find his question right here. Ask her, were the people in the tents like in a desert land or out in the middle of nowhere? If you can remember. Dreams are kind of hard to remember.
I think we were in the desert because I remember.
Oh, Bella. Poor Bella. We need to buy her a better internet connection. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Kanani, my number one fan. Kanani. Aloha. How come it's 808? Are you 808 years old? Just kidding. Or am I? Hey, Colin, what's up, sister? Just kidding. I know you're a guy. Poor Bella. Maybe she lives out in the country or something where she doesn't have a good internet. I'll try and get a hold of her, guys, on Facebook. Oh, she's back. She's back. She's back. Bella. Oh, Bella. Oh, Bella. Are you back?
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to unmute it. My computer's being slow. I'm sorry. It's so annoying.
It's okay.
Yeah, thank you. I need to get
just
better Wi-Fi.
Facebooked you. I'm like, we need to buy her better internet. Maybe you live out in the country or something.
I really
you live
don't
in a rural area?
pretty close to the,
Oh.
No, I live pretty close to Des Moines.
Weird.
But
I don't know where that is. I live in Canada, but it sounds like a city of some kind.
yeah, it's the capital.
Okay. Oh, okay. Should have a good internet provider then. Okay, so
yeah,
I brought up the Cuneiform for the audience to see. Where were we? You were telling us about your dream and how you couldn't remember, or you didn't think it was desertish. If you can remember where you were, let's just continue. We got a bunch of new people in the chat right now, so let me just give us a little refresher. This is Bella. She's had. You had a couple of these dreams, didn't you, Bella? They were kind of like reoccurring, or was it just one?
I've had several different dreams, but I've only had two ever that have really been repeated.
Okay, cool. So Bella had really interesting dreams that she thinks are about the end times, you guys, and she is she's just telling us about her dreams right now. So if you're new to the show, that's what's happening. So Bella, yeah, maybe you could just give us a little refresher and tell us about your dream, and hopefully you won't get disconnected this time.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so I don't know where I was, but I remember seeing a bunch of tents just lined up.
White tents, right?
Like if you were to be on it, but it was just like a whole row, like a camp almost of like
You know what, Bella? I hate to do this because you're so pretty, but if you could maybe cut your camera feed.
A bunch of white tents that look like this.
That way, I don't know if you heard me. Sometimes if you just use your voice, it won't be so laggy. Are you there, Bella?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back.
Okay.
And the tents look like this.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Those
and like I don't know if people were sleeping there.
Those look like crazy, like Middle Eastern tents or something, don't they?
That's kind
Yeah.
of, I thought they kind of looked like that too. And I actually did some research like last week. Because I was just trying to set up for this. But people actually set up tents like this in Israel
Yeah, that's
during
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
mhm,
What they look like. Oh, that's cool. That's what I thought they looked like too. Like Israeli tents. It's really weird that you say that.
yeah. And so I'm just not sure what it was, but that's after I did that research, I was like, I think that might be what it is, honestly, but we'll find out. Only time will tell, right?
Hopefully not too soon.
Hopefully not too soon.
Okay,
And then
I'd be cool with it happening in like 80 years.
that, yeah, yep. I'm fine with living
Yeah.
another 80 years
Yeah.
without that happening. And then it like the scene flashed to us looking up at the night sky, and like the moon was kind of blue, and there were like so many stars in the sky. It looked really beautiful. And then all of a sudden, like I don't know if the moon went black or if it just disappeared, but it was just gone, and the stars started spinning really, really fast in a circle around where the moon was, and started making like some of them were just lines, but like in between the lines, like it was like if you were to like tap water and it just like goes bloop bloop bloop, you know what I'm talking about? But in between those bloops, like there was the cuneiform that we see here, which is right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I hope he didn't freeze again. And I think she did.
Cuneiform, those stars
Oh,
in particular,
she's
like
back.
they were just like intertwining in and out and stuff while they were going in a circle. So it was just redefining the shape over and over again. Just I think that's how important it was, whatever it was. Um,
You know
so
what's cool,
I
Bella? I don't want to take your 15 minutes of fame here, but I used to have these reoccurring dreams before, like when I was about your age. And this was before I was a Christian. See, I'm 33 now. So when I was like in my early 20s, I used to have all these reoccurring dreams where like the world was ending and there was like all this chaos going on everywhere and people were fighting and screaming. And I would look up at the moon and the moon would be like blood red. And then I would wake up and I would have this dream like twice a week, like it was reoccurring like over and over. But this is before I was a Christian or anything, so I didn't know what it meant. But I understand about blood moons and everything now. But it's weird that you were looking at the moon too. Like the moon was like always a key part of these dreams that I had.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's very interesting. And that's funny that the Lord had me reach out to you and tell you about that now that you say that. So
At first, it was funny. She sent me like this picture. That's all. It's all you sent me on Facebook was that picture. And I was like,
this picture.
yeah, no. She didn't send me any typing or anything. Just this big crazy picture, and I was like, question mark. She's like, maybe I should have explained. I'm like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's cute. Okay, so go ahead, Bella. I don't want to cut into your dream. Everyone's really enjoying it. You're doing good. They're really happy that you're here. So we were talking about those crazy Israeli tents.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I like the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then I saw the star formation, and then just boom, all of a sudden the scene changed again, and people were just running around frantically. Like we ran into this building, and I watched people just freaking out, and they like these people were like running underneath the stairs trying to hide from something. I don't know what was going on. I just know that people were freaking out about something. And then the scene changed one last time to where I was in this car. I'm sorry if I'm about to offend anyone here, but I was in this car, and this person in white armor that almost looked like an astronaut. He had like a black like helmet face, like it was like super tinted car windshield right over his face for his helmet, and the rest of his body armor was all white. But he didn't have any like guns or anything like that on him. But I wasn't able to say this earlier, but he was able to like communicate with me like without speaking to me or looking at me. Like he just walked right by the car and was like, yeah, it was weird. And I heard him say like, "Oh, she's just smoking," and just kept on walking. And I wasn't like the windows weren't down, his
Were,
helmet was off, and I just heard it like right into my brain. And
were
God
you
was saying,
smoking or
I was smoking in my dream. Yeah, sorry, but it's my lifestyle
what?
now.
You were smoking in your dream?
Yeah, at the end of it, in the last scene. Um,
That's funny. What were you smoking, Bella?
it was marijuana, guys, but it was just a dream. It was just a dream. So
It's okay. I'm just bugging you. Okay, so that's cool. He was communicating with you telepathically. Weird. You
yeah.
know, they say aliens. I don't believe they're aliens. I think they're actually demons, but that's
Mm.
what they say. Aliens communicate telepathically all the time, and there's a lot of people that say the end times is going to be like a deception with aliens, and they're going to pretend to be aliens coming like from another world under like a malevolent pretext, like under good. They're trying to be good, but they're fooling us, right? They're actually, I mean, they're going to pretend to be malevolent, but they're malevolent, they're bad, right? And they're demonic. So that's like a lot of people say that. So that's crazy that you've seen this astronaut thing and it communicated with you telepathically, because it's all starting to add up here.
Well, I'm also like I was talking to my brother about it, and we kind of think that it was an angel of the Lord, but like God was showing it to me in like terms that I would understand. Um, because they were wearing white.
Could
Um,
be, yeah.
yeah, very well could have been. Like I personally like seen like this is gonna sound crazy, but like I've seen an alien before. I've seen demons before. Like I believe the aliens that people talk about, like the whites and the grays and whatever, the orange and the blue, whatever you want to say the color they are, like they are demonic, and they are like they instill you with fear. And like any God tells us that anything that instills you with fear like that is not of the Lord.
I used to suffer from sleep paralysis, and
Mm.
I seen demons a lot, like hovering over my bed, like touching me right here in my chest, just like touching me, and there'd be like a super sharp pain all the way through my chest. And like when I woke up, I could like still feel the pain from where that thing was just like touching me,
You're
like
giving me
weird. Like,
PTSD here.
so I totally believe what you're saying when you say you've seen demons, because so have I. I don't tell very many people because they think you're crazy, but yeah, I believe you for sure.
Well,
But you
I
know
mean,
what?
there are going to be people
Sorry.
out there that aren't going to believe it. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. But like even it says that like to be you got to be cautious because Lucifer himself will masquerade as like a being of light, right?
hmm
It says that in the Bible. Like he'll come down and pretend to be like a being of light, and he's actually
well,
like
he
a
was an
demon.
angel of the Lord. So, I mean,
Hmm. He was, yeah.
he was. But actually, in the Quran, have you read the Quran?
No, I know about it, but I just don't want to read it
No,
because I've studied it a lot. I've watched a
that's
lot of
it.
Quranic debates. I actually had Dr. J. Smith on my show like last week. You know, Dr. J. Smith. He's like the foremost knowledge and
Oh,
Quranic experts in the world. Yeah, I had him on here and interviewed him. Like, I'm really into Quranic arguments and stuff, but I've never sat down and read the Quran like cover to cover. No.
yeah. Well, I started reading it because my dad actually turned to the Islamic faith himself, and I just wanted to
Oh,
read it to be able to,
that sucks.
sorry, excuse me, just to educate myself for when people try to like bring up how like Jesus isn't real. You know what I'm saying? Because he does that with me a lot. But in the Quran, which I find very interesting, they actually talk about how in the beginning God created angels, then he created jinn, which jinn are demons
Hmm.
in the Quran,
Yeah, I know.
which is very interesting.
For sure, but your dad says Jesus. They believe in Jesus in the Quran. They just believe he's a prophet.
Yeah,
They
he
don't
believes
believe
he's
he's
a prophet.
God. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Your dad used to be Christian and converted to Islam. That actually hurts me. I don't
Yeah,
even know your I don't even know your dad, but that hurts me because that's like we lost a soldier, you know what I mean? But to the other
honestly,
side.
he my aunt told me like 3 or 4 years back that when he was like 12 or 13 years old, um, he did a sermon in his church about talking about how being plugged into the Lord is like having a fridge being unplugged from the wall. Everything inside will rot and die. And I
It's a
was
good
like, oh
analogy.
my gosh, like that's a great sermon,
It
but
is a good analogy for sure. Yeah. That's cool. Did you draw that in the back there, those mountains?
Oh no, my boyfriend got that for me.
They like your art.
Oh, thanks, guys. Friends' paintings in here too, like like this one back there. That's kind of cool. Her name's Emily. She's a real artist. She's going to school to work for Disney. That'd be
Nice.
cool.
Wow, that would be quick. Good job. Good paying job, probably.
Yeah.
So, sorry, we kind of got off topic from your dream.
My bad.
Masturbates. Mm-hmm. Boyfriend? No. This guy's crazy.
He's a lovely person.
Okay, so how many more dreams? Do you want to talk about another dream that you had, or did you have? You said you had this one twice. This dream, or what?
You know what? Yeah, let me talk about my dream that I had before I read Revelations, actually, because that's really what had me start writing down my dreams. So I was living with my aunt and uncle right after I graduated from high school, and I started reading the Bible. But I didn't read Revelations until after she had told me to read it, after I told her about this dream that I had. So let's talk about that dream. In my dream, I was like in a building somewhere. I think it was a school. And like all of a sudden, like all these people were just gone. They were just gone. And I was like, oh, well, that's weird. Where'd everybody go? And so I went outside and like it was just chaos outside. Like you could just hear like hundreds of people just screaming bloody murder, like help, help, like there it was really bad. It was really bad. And like there was this really weird substance falling from the sky. It was like a reddish orange color, and whenever it was like touching people, it was burning them and like burning through their flesh basically. And this guy, like I didn't even get like 5 yards outside the school in order to be protected from what's about to come. And I was like, okay. It tells us to go and like crouch down like in the fetal position but behind these trees. And then like as soon as we did it, like this huge like thing just like went and like just wiped the whole tree off except for like the part that was like covering our bodies. And then I stood up and my friend was like, and he was in a car that I didn't even recognize, which actually I do wrecked in the car, and we were driving down the interstate as fast as we could, and then we had to stop because it was just miles and miles of traffic just jammed up on both sides of the interstate. And like there were a lot of people just abandoned their cars, and like people were like killing other people, and like there were like these military planes there that like I didn't even recognize. Like it looked like our military, but it wasn't our military. But like whatever had just happened that wiped out the tree before was about to happen again. So I told my friend like we gotta go. And so we ran across like this football field's length of land until we reached the woods, and we jumped down into this like ravine. Basically, it was a ravine, and like there was this big, huge tunnel, like the size of like a room. Basically, like the entrance was like the size of a bedroom wall, and I stepped like a foot or two into there, and I was like, we can't go in there. That's bad. We're gonna die if we go in there. And I was trying to escape, and we just could not get out of that ravine after we jumped in there. And then I woke up from the dream, and like I usually I would think that's like a nightmare, you know? I mean, like that's some pretty crazy things that's going on, but I was not afraid when I woke up from the dream. I was just like, oh, that was really weird. And I went and told my Aunt Christy about that, and she was like, weird. Have you read Revelations before? And I was like, no, why? Why are you asking me that? She's like, you should go read that. So I went right there, and I just couldn't believe what I was reading. Like, I think it's Revelation 5. Is that right?
That's cool. Let's check it out. There's someone in the chat saying he's like had the same dreams you have. That's kind of weird.
That's crazy. Hello, friend.
I don't know if they're exactly the same, but he was on my channel not too long ago, actually, and
Yes, the
he
Jew.
was.
He's Jewish.
He's kind of a Jew, I think. I don't know what he is. He's all over the place. Aren't you, Melvin? I don't think he would call himself a Jew. He's a black guy. He's a lawkeeper. Believes a lot in the Old Testament.
I thought he was saying the other night that he was Jewish, and that's why they were arguing the other night.
Yeah, I don't know. I think. What are you, Melvin? He won't say. He doesn't. He doesn't identify himself. Oh, he's Hebrew.
Hebrew. Oh, okay.
He thinks he's a Hebrew.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dream was crazy. And then, like, a couple of nights after that dream, I had a dream that an EMP went off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Pretty sure Bella does believe Jesus is God, James, if you've been listening, right? You believe Jesus is God,
yeah.
Bella? Oh, yeah.
I do.
Amen.
I accepted
Amen.
Jesus Christ in my heart when I was 18. So.
Amen. Not think, Nick. No. Well, the Black Hebrew Israelite movement is a whole other discussion and topic for me. So, honestly, I don't think there's any evidence that the original Hebrews are from Africa. I actually could give a convincing argument that they're not, tracing genealogy all the way back. But I don't want to get into that right now because we're talking about Bella's dream. But if you want to identify yourself as Hebrew, Melvin, okay, I'll call you Hebrew. I'll give it to you. You're Hebrew.
God knows your heart, Melvin.
For sure. Amen to that. Okay, what was I going to look up again? Oh yeah, Revelation 5 you wanted me to look up?
Oh, yeah, I think it's Revelation 5. Darn it. But a couple nights later, I had a dream that there was an EMP that had gone off, and like I didn't witness the EMP going off, but I knew it had happened because vehicles weren't working, like cell phones. We didn't have cell phones. Cell phones weren't working. And oh, you know what? It might be. It's Revelation 6. Sorry, Revelation 6. Well, you know what? That's talking about the horses. Where is it? Oh, sorry. Revelation 8. My bad. Revelation 8. And it's talking about the trumpets.
Okay. And then Revelation 8.
Yeah, my bad. Revelation 8.
And then he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 420 elders fell down that one before the Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 420 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors. Odors.
Might want to jump down to 6.
Which are the prayers of saints. Is that what you wanted me to read?
I'm sorry. Go ahead and read 7. Okay. Read chapter 8, verse 7.
Chapter 8, verse 7. Okay. Revelation 8, 7. King James Version. I don't really care if it's King James or not, but that's the first thing that came up. So, the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And a third part of trees were burnt up. All green grass was burnt up. Yeah, for sure. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they got all the versions here. NASB. The first sounded, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and they were thrown to the earth, and a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. I like that one. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's what that's what my aunt was referring to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's like, sorry, Bella. It happens. It's just connections, and we try and talk, and we don't know when each other is talking. It's all good. But that's like what's happening right now. Hey, like all the forest fires everywhere, and like a third of everything is like burning. In Syria, there's a massive forest fire. It's happening like all over the world. It's not just in North America.
Yeah, I really. A lot of people have decided to tune out the news over the last several years because there's so much bad things going on in the world. But like, this is a time that you really should be paying attention to what's going on, like especially believers, because God is showing us right now the times that we're living in, and it's crazy. Like, a third of the world is on fire right now, like, and it has been for several months. The waters are being poisoned. Like I said, a couple days later in that dream, an EMP had gone off, and I didn't get this far, but we had to drink water from the sky. Like, we couldn't like go to a river and get water. Like, of course, like our sinks weren't working or anything, but a lot of the water has been poisoned right now. And just like a week or so ago, like Kamchatka or Kamchatsky or whatever, some country over like, or a part like of Russia, like their volcano was going off or starting to erupt, and the water supply there was like burning people when they were swimming in the water, burning their eyes, and
That's so crazy, eh?
yeah, their fish were dying and just washing up on shore. Um, it's crazy, and like with the whole corona, which I'm not so sure how I feel about coronavirus. Like, I'm not denying
Yeah,
the fact.
it's a touchy subject. I know there's a lot of weird people in the world to say that.
But regardless of coronavirus or not, like a lot of people are dying right now. Like,
Something's going on.
yeah, something's going on. Something's going down. And
I
it's
just had a
honestly,
girl on the show that's had coronavirus. I don't know if you've seen that. She said she had coronavirus. I interviewed her like last week. She was getting over
oh,
coronavirus. Like, she showed me her papers from the hospital and everything. So like, whether it's just a bad flu that the government's calling coronavirus, but the people are definitely getting sick with something.
yeah, with something indeed. And you know what? Well, you know what? We better not even get into that conversation. It's gonna trail us so far off.
It's okay.
I have some other dreams if you would like to hear about them. I wrote a list about them. I was really surprised.
I still have like an hour, so you're good to talk about whatever you want.
Okay, dope, awesome. Um, Honestly, guys, I was super nervous about coming on here and doing this. I've been super nervous about like telling anybody about these dreams for a long time. Just because, the enemy, when God wants you to do something, the enemy will do anything to dissuade you from doing it. Anything. Whether it's like no one's gonna listen to you, like, oh, like you were doing crazy things when when you saw these things or experienced these things, like just don't listen to the enemy. Like, God has placed spiritual gifts for certain people, and he gave you those gifts so that you can use it and spread the love of Jesus Christ and spread the gospel of Jesus. Go out and use your gifts that Jesus has given you. And
Yeah, use them.
I was just crying to my brother about this the other night. It's a big deal. But I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm just here to share a story, and whether you believe it or not is up to you. Whether you want to show people, whatever. Like, I encourage you to show people, because I bet you will have some people out there that will be like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy!" Like, but in April of when was that? April of 2018, I started living on my own when I was going to college, and I started like having more dreams and like just got really close to the Lord during that time. And I had this dream where me and my friends were like out on a beach somewhere, and these like these two pink dolphins had washed up ashore on the beach. And then like all of a sudden, like the sky like just set, like the sun set very quickly. And the water, like, I don't know if it was the water, it definitely looked like the water, but like this big black smoke looking beast just rose out of the water and was a part of the water. And like, I'm going to relate it to an animal because that's what I can relate it to in my mind, but I know that it was demonic and it was not okay. Like, it looked like an octopus, but it wasn't an octopus, you know what I'm saying? um that was in April of 2018. um
That's
And I have
crazy.
another
A
one
big
here that happened.
an
Oh,
octopi demon, eh?
yeah, yeah. Well, I say octopus because it looked like it had tentacles almost, but like its body cavity was like circular, but it didn't look like an octopus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had some crazy. I don't know if you've seen any of my older videos, but yeah, I had some crazy dreams, and like I know what you're talking about with animal demons. Like they do that, and I found out it's biblical too. Like when I was withdrawing from fentanyl and heroin, like I'm an ex-drug dealer, heroin addict, and like when I was getting off of opiates, I had the craziest most demonic dreams like ever, man. Like I don't want to go into full detail, but well, I guess I will, whatever. Okay, so I I'm from Vancouver Island, so the family house we grew up in, I used to sleep downstairs all the time, and usually the walls were like this color, just like beige is white, right? Yeah. So, um, in my dreams that I was having when I was like going through these withdrawals, like I would be back in my family house. It's weird. I dream about this house a lot, even to this day. Dream about the family house like we all grew up in. But anyway, I wake up downstairs and like I look around, instead of the walls being like beige, they're like black, like pure black. And like every inch of the wall is like covered with like this weird satanic there'll be like ram horns, inverted pentagrams,
Oh,
occult symbols on every square inch of the black wall, just any kind of occult demonic symbolism that you could think of, right? And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? So like as I get up off the couch, like literally all these little demons like started coming out of the walls, and there was like the way the house was designed, it was a 3-level house. So you go up from the basement to get to the kitchen, and then you go around the corner and up another set of stairs to get to the 3rd level. So like as I'm in the basement, I'm going up the first flight of stairs, and as I'm walking up the stairs, like all these little animal, like that's why I say, these animal demon things, they started biting me and like latching onto me, and like some of them looked like retarded geese. And like when these things would bite me, man, like I could feel like this goose thing, I could feel my fist like down its throat. Like I could feel the slime and the goop of this thing's throat. Like it felt like so real, man. And it was
that's
like biting me. All these little demons were biting me, and I'm like trying to go up the stairs, but like it was getting harder and harder. And like when I got to the 2nd floor, around the corner, the other set of stairs, there was like this old it was like this old style writing like on the wall, and it said Jesus, and there was like an arrow pointing up the 3rd flight of stairs, and there's this really super bright light coming from the 3rd level of the house. And I was trying to get up there, and the stairs kept getting more narrow and narrow and narrow, and I couldn't fit. And I was like trying to get up to Jesus so bad, and like as the light touched these little demons, they just like start popping and melting and like oozing all over the place, like as soon as the light hit them. But the stairs were getting smaller and smaller, and I just like couldn't get up there. And then I woke up.
holy bucket. I'd probably have a heart attack after that dream.
It's
Oh my
so
God.
real, and that's why I know what you're talking about when you say like octopus looking or like animal looking. I found out that's actually biblical.
So
There's
what do the animal shapes have to do with it?
they because on Earth there's like animals. God makes beautiful creatures and everything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in hell, it's like the opposite. Like everything is grotesque and disgusting. So like you'll go to hell and there'll be things like bears or like giant spiders that are just like crawling all over you, and like anything that you find just like repulsive. Like if you look up NDEs, like near death experiences, people that have like died on the operating table and like been to hell, they'll tell you like there's a guy named Kenneth something, I forget, he wrote a book, but yeah, that's what it has to do with it. And because you said you've seen like an octopus looking demon, right? So it just made me start thinking like, yeah, demons will take on shapes of like animals, but they'll be like grotesque and like hideous, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I've actually experienced a demonic figure like crawling up the side of my bunk bed when I was like, how old was I? I think I was like 15 or 16. Um, and it was so creepy. I shared a room with my stepsister at the time, and she was sleeping on the bottom bunk of the bed. And I was sleeping on the top, and our bed was like made out of metal. And so it like I woke up to the sound of like what it
Right.
sounds like when a dog walks on hardwood floor, but I heard it on my ladder, and I was like,
That's creepy,
"What the
man.
bird
That
is
is
that?"
so
So
creepy.
it was.
Ah, I
It
could
was
picture that
creepy,
sound.
and so I turned over and I just saw like this demonic, it looked like a dog, but it wasn't a dog. This demonic looking dog that like had like leatherish looking skin, and it had like it didn't have a lot of hair, but like the hair that it did have, it was like weird looking, and it was like they're all
See,
shadow
I
figures.
told you, they take the shape of animals and stuff, but they're, like, grotesque and, like, hideous.
Yeah, and that one had
They
red
try
eyes.
and they try and, like, mimic God and, what's it called? Like, just like how you see on MTV, like, all those sluts, like, dancing around Christina Aguilera and, like, contorting their bodies in, like, weird shapes, you know? They're, like,
Oh
putting
yeah.
themselves on display, so it's like a slap in the face to God. Honestly. So when God creates something beautiful, that's why they say bad things always happen in three. Like you ever watch those paranormal survivor shows and stuff? I do. They're scary. Like those people that get like
Oh
haunted
yeah.
houses, demonic encounters and stuff. I watch them because I believe in demons and they're scary. But like they'll say it always happens in threes. Like whenever because they mock the Trinity, right? Like whenever they get attacked, there'll be like three scratches, like
Hmm.
three claws. The demons are mocking the Trinity, just the same way they mock animals instead of making like a cute dog. It's like some retarded, like disgusting looking dog. That's you know what I mean? Because it's like slap in the face to God's creation kind of thing.
Yeah, honestly. Um,
Oh, that's so creepy.
Man,
That
that just had
sound.
me
That sound that you
the
told me
sound.
about, like the dog's claws on the
Oh,
hardwood floor, I could like picture that. That's creepy.
yeah, and like it was weird though, like because you know it's really weird. Like, excuse me, one moment. I well, that candle's been turned on for a while. It's really weird how just any spiritual attack that anybody goes through, like you can't wipe that from your memory. Like that stays with you forever, and it's like it happened just like 5 seconds ago. Um, and like that sound, it's freaky, and like I quit sleeping in that room after that, and I actually moved to the basement, which was worse. It was 10 times worse
Yeah, I
because
was gonna say like basement. Ooh, nothing good ever
yeah,
happens in the
no,
basement.
no, it doesn't. And there was like this one point in time when I was sleeping in the basement, and you know, I honestly probably 100% did this to myself because I was super into Supernatural at this point in time, which I still love Supernatural. It's a great show. Um, but I was into the idea that like, oh, I'll put like a what the boys have on their like chest where they have like the pentagram and the fire so demons can't enter their body. So I was like I'm not
Yeah,
having that happen anymore. So I had my friend draw that for me on the wall of my bedroom.
that's
And
a bad
he never
idea.
put the flames up, so I probably did this to myself. But yeah, it was a bad idea from start to finish. Well, I didn't even finish it, but um I was like for a week straight, like I had my family members like come downstairs and just lay in my bed with me for just a couple minutes. I was like, just listen. Just listen. Do you hear anything? They'd be like, no. And I said, okay, great. Now close your eyes and listen. And so they would close their eyes. And the only person who could hear what I was hearing, which what it sounded like was like this. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Could you guys hear that?
No, do it louder.
Okay. Well,
Ugh, I heard that.
it sounds like someone walking on carpet.
Oh, that's scary.
It sounds like shuffling their feet on the carpet. And only one of my older brothers could hear it. And he was like, "Oh, that's just the furnace." And I was like, "Okay, so then if it's just the furnace, which doesn't sound like that, how come it's only happening when your eyes are closed?" So literally the next night after my brother had like witnessed this himself and denied it, like the next night I heard it again, but this time it like came up to my bed and like I heard like the claws again, but over the bottom of my bed. And I felt like it was like an inhuman pace that this happened. It was so scary. Like I felt something like army crawling up my body, and like immediately I started praying to God, and it felt like it was just like it just pooped off my body. Like it stopped right at my waist because I started praying, but it like army crawled at an inhuman pace, like right up my body. And that was freaky. And then I quit sleeping in the basement for that. I actually moved out of that house and lived with my grandparents after that because that was
You,
scarring.
you're
That was
really
a
good
lot.
at you're really good at describing stuff. It's like it puts me like right there when you describe all those sounds. It creeps me out, especially the dog nails on the hardwood floor. That was like, wow, man, that was scary. It gave me the visual for sure. You know, you can like that fear. It's like a fear that's like physical. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
experienced that, but you can actually feel it. It's like a thick fear. Like when I was suffering from sleep paralysis and these demons, I'd see like the same two demons pretty much. They'd come back, and the one kept getting like stronger and stronger. He was like really tall and skinny, and he wore a black hood, black cloak, and he had
Shut your front door. Are you serious? You wore a coat?
yeah, and he had a super pale face, like super pale white face, and like hollow, kind of dark eyes. But I couldn't really see his face very well because he had the black cloak over it, right? But he used to stand like I'd be like sleeping, and he'd stand like right over top of my bed, like right like that, just looking down at me, and I'd be like looking up, like couldn't move, like paralyzed, but like you'd feel the fear, like intense fear, like fear so thick that like I'd try and say scripture, and I'd go to say Jesus, and like all I could get was like Jesus, like try to yell, and like
Yeah,
that's
like
all that would come out because you're so scared, right? But like even saying that, his face would cringe and he'd like back up. But every time he came in, he kept getting stronger and stronger. I'd have to start reciting more prayers, start saying his name in Hebrew, Yeshua. I'd have to start, trying to recite the Lord's Prayer, Apostles' Creed, and like then he'd back out and back out. But in a nutshell, what happened was I had these landlords. They were really old. They're like 70, 80 years old. They were super religious in the church, and they were the first people that I ever told this was happening to. Like it got so bad, the cops used to come. And that's how I knew that I wasn't like sleeping, because I would be like screaming so loud that the neighbors would call the cops, and the
Oh, you
cops
were
would
able to
come.
scream?
Mhm. My
Huh.
The girl I was with, my ex-girlfriend, the girl I was with at the time, I used to be like, Megan, wake me up, shake me. She'd be laying beside me sleeping, and I'd be like, I'm paralyzed, I can't move. And I would get her to shake me and wake me up, and I would be talking to her. So that's how I know it's not a dream, it's real. It's
Yeah.
happening. Like I would have
Yeah.
to tell her to move me and shake me and try to snap me out of it, because like it's not a dream. But then like later or whatever, we broke up and I was living by myself, and like yeah, the cops would get called because I'd be like screaming so loud, and I'd be like so embarrassed. I'd just have to be like, I told them, oh sorry, I suffer from night terrors or something, right? But
Right.
yeah, it's an actual physical fear, and it's like really intense. But these landlords of mine, they're like 80 years old. They were the first people I told, and they had just come back from a trip to Israel. And while they were in Israel, I guess they brought back this holy anointing oil straight from Israel. And
Mhm.
I told them about what was happening to me, and they like said all these crazy prayers over me and started speaking in tongues, which I don't believe in tongues, but they do. Just like it's never happened. If it happens, it happens. It's never happened to me before. I'm the kind of guy that's like skeptical. But
That's
anyway,
okay.
and they like anointed the sign of the cross on my forehead with this anointing oil from Israel, and they said these prayers over me. And this was like years ago, and I never had a sleep paralysis episode since. Just stopped. Like
God
it
bless.
happened so much. I had a website called demonicsleepparalysis.com. Like I ran like a website about it, like because I was trying to find out if it actually happened to other people, and like I was terrified. Right, found out it did happen to lots of other people, and scientists admit it too, and they'll but they obviously don't believe that it's like demonic. They call it sleep paralysis with hallucinations or with induced hallucinations, right?
Yeah, it's sad. And I just like it's crazy how much fear that they can instill into you. I've literally like gotten into a what's that called? A four wheeler accident, and like fell down a ravine. And I I've never felt the same amount of fear as I do when I'm in the presence of something evil like that. It takes your breath away.
Yeah,
Like
literally. That's like when they say that the demons like can feed off of fear because it's like an actual energy.
mhm.
I used to think people were crazy, but no, it's real, man. That fear is like it's a real physical fear. Like I don't care how tough you are, or like how much you go to the gym, or like how much of a gangster you think you are, or whatever. Like when that happens to you, you're frozen with fear. Like it's like a physical spiritual fear, man. There's like nothing you can barely do to get out of it.
It's
Like
the
it's
sleep paralysis.
just the presence of demons being around, like that. When you feel that demonic presence, when you know or see a demon, like because you've experienced it, it's that fear like paralyzes you. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Ooh, recollect my thoughts here. My gosh.
Let's see what the chat's saying. You guys, anyone in the chat have any questions for either Bella or I? I think somebody had some questions here. Nick, you saw Slender Man. I don't know. I think Slender Man's real. I think he was like made up for a movie or something, a video game, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure Slender Man was like a video game. My brother used to play the video game. Like, I don't think it's actually real.
Actually, I'm glad that person brought that up because when you said that, it freaked me out a second because I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen that guy with the coat. But my guy like has a top hat, like a black top hat that he always wore.
I've heard of the hatted guy. That a lot of people see that guy in the hat. I used to study this stuff because it happened to me. So I was trying to study like, what is this? Like, what is this? What's going on? And like, there's spirit people, and then there's there's shadow people, and then there's shadow beings, and they're different. Shadow beings are like dangerous. They can manifest, hurt you. Shadow people are just like shadow forms of spirits, they say. Well, they're probably demons, but they look like shadows. Like you think
Ghost.
You'll see it like in the corner of your room. Like, is that a shadow or not? It's like it's dark, like it's scary stuff. But and then that guy with the hat, like that's what they call him, is the man with the hat. He's a black top hat, and he's like,
that's what I've called.
Yeah, he's seen a lot, that guy. And same with the hooded figure. I had on my website, I had a whole list of them, and I had Slenderman on there, Daniel. But that's why I did a little research into Slenderman, and as far as I can find, it was like a video game that turned into like a movie or something. I couldn't really find. I'm not like obviously listening to the conversation we just had. Of course, I believe in demons, but I don't think Slenderman is like legit. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Anyone who pays attention to like apps that come out on the App Store all the time, they are actually developing an app so that you can play like a Pokemon version of finding demons and destroying them. And it's supposed to be released either later this year or sometime next year. So if you want to see a demon, which I think they're probably just showing us real demons, to be honest with you, keep on the lookout for that. It's not fun though.
That's crazy. What do you mean? Find demons and destroy them? Like video game or conjure up real demons?
Like, do you know what Pokemon Go is?
Yeah, where you like
so I never played that before.
Me neither, but my friend tried to get me to play because he wanted me to drive him around all day and catch these stupid things. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not doing that. It's dumb.
So what you do is you just walk around and you just try and find a Pokemon and then you battle it, so you can get whatever. I don't even play the game, but from the commercial that I saw for this video game, for this app game that you can get on your phone, is like, oh, you want to go and destroy demons? Like it was to like this movie or TV show. So like this person was developing it for that. But you could just like take your cell phone out and like go on a walk and go on battles, and like every once in a while your phone will alert you when a demon is nearby, and you'll have to use your camera to try and find it and look for it.
That's messed up.
Man. And it is messed up. And the messed up, I think the most messed up part about it is that a lot of people don't realize that it's a real thing. Like they're probably letting you see something real that you can't see with your own eyes.
Probably. Crazy. Melvin, Nick, have you ever had the feeling someone was pushing down on your chest, or like someone sat on your bed? And yeah, bro, I used to have, I don't know if you're listening, but I used to have that feeling a lot. That one hooded demon, he used to stand right over top of me when I was laying there, and he'd push like right here, down kind of like right in the middle where your heart and your chest is, right there. He'd be pushing right there and like hard with one finger, and like I would feel a sharp pain go like all the way through my chest near my heart, and like even after I woke up, I would still feel it for a few minutes. Like, yeah, man, I've definitely, and like that one hooded demon, when he'd come in, sometimes there'd be like 7 or 8 like little demons like this big that kind of look like giant beetles, and they'd be like scurrying like along the walls, like as he walked. They'd be like behind him, like it's just really weird.
Crazy.
Really weird. Oh, let's see what else we got in here for chat. Thanks for coming, Bella.
Yeah, of course. I have a couple more dreams if anybody's interested. I had some
for sure.
here.
If you have more time and you want to hang out for a bit longer, like I still have probably at least 45 minutes. So if you want us to keep talking about dreams, I'll just scroll through the chat while you start telling us your dream.
Yeah, I actually just have a couple more left that I want to discuss real quick because I feel really important that I talk about these.
Yeah, it is
so
important.
I do have a dream journal. And I only write dreams down if I feel like it's of significance from the Lord. Like the Spirit will make you do it, just like God tells us. Like the Bible is written from. Is that your cat? Oh my gosh, that freaked me out for a second. I'm not gonna lie. That prophets wrote, not prophets, but like people wrote the Bible by the will of the Lord. Like it was the Spirit writing through them. And so that's what I believe is happening when I write down these dreams. Because otherwise they wouldn't get written down. But I was actually just going through them before, like a couple hours ago, before I logged onto this, and I saw that one of my most recent dreams that I had written down was that it was about, I wrote it down here. Oh, water levels rising. It said that water levels rose everywhere, and like millions of people were forced to evacuate from where they were living. And that was like several months ago because I don't even remember writing that down. So I thought that was interesting, especially considering like what's going on right now, like with all the hurricanes and all the glaciers melting. It was just crazy. I also had a dream about a year ago, I think it was, that me and my stepsister were at SeaWorld. And the only reason why I say SeaWorld is because SeaWorld is the only place that I know of that has orcas and dolphins and like all the dolphins that they have that are like inside a building. And I only remember it because like this was before I'd ever been there. Like it was just like a glass like building basically like on that like the outside, and then they have like the pools and stuff, which I don't even know if that's a thing in a SeaWorld or whatever. But in that dream, I saw through the windows that like this giant like wave was coming at us and like shattered the glass. And I like grabbed my sister and we ran inside the building and shut the door. And we couldn't get very far. But by the time we had gotten to the bottom of the stairs from the exhibit that we were just at watching them play with the dolphins, do their dolphin show or whatever, all these fish tanks had been opened, including shark tanks, and like fish were just swimming around in the hallways and sharks were. So that was crazy that I saw like a tsunami basically like just like right in a SeaWorld. So, and there's one in California, there's one in Florida, I think there's one is there one in Japan? Some Asian country over there, I feel like has one.
Whales. They love to kill whales. They probably got lots of SeaWorlds.
Yeah.
I know
California.
You never seen that South Park episode where like stupid whales and they just like run in and start stabbing the whales everywhere they are, and dolphins and stuff?
No, I haven't.
They're making fun of Japanese because they're like one of the only countries that still goes out and hunts and kills whales for meat. It's horrible.
It's sad. It's sad.
You don't need to kill whales, dude. Like there's not many left. They eat everything on the planet. You got to eat whales too. Like, come on. Asian
Honestly,
people, like, I'm not trying to be racist, but they eat dogs and cat. What?
How many cats do you have? Two?
Two cats. No, I have 2 cats and 2 ferrets.
Oh, ferrets are cute. And then the last dream I want to share with you was I actually had this dream like 2 weeks ago. And I've been like keeping up on like radar watch around the world basically recently because I'm a super conspiracy theorist, because conspiracy theories will become the truth in the end times. I mean, God tells us. So I've been paying attention to the weather and stuff, and that may have been why I had this dream, but I don't think God would have showed me something like that if it was just from me like because like I'm not worrying about anything. So I really feel like it was from the Lord. But in my dream, like the entire state of Iowa, which is smack dab in the middle of the United States, um, there was just this huge storm cloud that just engulfed Iowa. Like it was as big as the state of Iowa, and like one wing went up towards the north, and one wing of the storm went down towards the south. So it almost looked like a hurricane. I don't know if it was a hurricane. I don't know if it was a tornado. But I asked God when I woke up, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? Because it was crazy. Like, I've never seen a storm that just engulfs an entire state that big. Like, it was crazy. I mean, the Delta storm, if anybody's been paying attention to the news, like, that was like the whole 9 yards, you know. But I asked God what it meant, and God told me there's going to be a huge spiritual storm that's coming. So, whatever that means, you know, we'll see. Kanani 808. You keep a dream journal for when you first wake up. So I actually sleep with a dream journal right next to my bed. It's right here. This is my dream journal. And if I wake up even in the middle of the night, even if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll just write it down real quick. Like the water levels rising and millions of people having to be evacuated. Like I don't remember writing that dream down, and usually I write my dreams down like as soon as I wake up. But I think I wrote that dream like real quick in the middle of the night and then right back to sleep because I have a sleep disorder. So I sleep like all the time. I have to be on medicine to keep myself awake most days.
You're lucky. You're the opposite. You're the opposite of me. I have like insomnia. Like I can't sleep without medication, really.
Do you want to trade? Because I'd rather not sleep all day long.
I would trade for a bit, for sure. Not forever though, but we could do maybe like 6 months or something.
Yeah, we'll take turns.
Okay.
But okay, yeah, those are my dreams.
This guy keeps asking me, like, have you ever taken shrooms? I've taken shrooms lots when I was a teenager. I don't really like them anymore. They make my stomach like, feel real bad.
So a long time ago when I was young and dumb, which I'm still young, but I'm not as dumb anymore. I did it one time and I only did it once and I've never done it again. I will never do it again. Like I know it has really good healing benefits for some people.
I don't think I think that's all.
I think it's crock shit.
The poison. It poisons you. Yeah, it is a crock. It literally is, the psilocybin's literally poisoning you and you're dying. That's why you get high. Like you're dying. It's poisoning your body. It's a poison. They say if you like microdose, it has like psychedelic, or if you have maybe if you had like a mental trauma or you're molested or somehow it can like help you with your mental issues. But I don't know. That was kind of a rude question anyway, Master Bates. Leave it to Master Bates to ask a question.
Like I know some studies have shown that like it can help your brain rewire itself, but there are so many other things out there that your brain literally, it is natural for your brain to rewire itself in other ways. Like if you can't hear in order to learn how to talk, like your body's going to work around it so that you'll be able to do different things. Like it's just crazy. Like if you can't learn to do math one way, your body's going to take a different pathway in order so that you can learn math. But I've only done it one time and I didn't like it. And like, the only thing that was keeping me like from losing my sanity the whole time was my friend's cat. Like I was like freaking out except for whenever that cat would come over to me, and that cat kept coming over to me whenever it realized that I was freaking out a little bit, and so I just pet it and feel a little better. Like that poor cat, his name is Otis, but
cats are weird when they're on mushrooms, eh? You always think they're like tripping with you and like it's just like, I don't know, weird.
Yeah, actually
why do you want her to make the sign of the cross? I don't understand. Like they think you're demonic or something, this one guy? Come on.
Oh, probably because the lights keep flickering. My lights, just so you guys know, there's nothing demonic in here. The presence of the Lord lives in this house. My lights have been flickering for like a month now. They're fluorescent lights that are like long beams, like this long.
You don't have to explain yourself. I'm pretty sure that you're not.
But are you able to ask him why he wants me to make the sign of the cross? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it's what's up with that T. It's because he thinks Why? Elaborate, buddy. Why did you want her to make the sign of the cross, even if she was, uh, even if she was like a demonically possessed? That wouldn't mean she couldn't make the sign of a cross. Demons can make the sign of a cross if they want.
I have this. Look, I'm holding it.
Yeah.
I'm holding it. Nothing's happening. I'll touch it to my
Hands
face.
aren't burning. He just catches on fire. Okay, let's get to the real question. Does anybody have any actual serious questions for Bella? What does Bella think about people in the comment section that think she is a hybrid? What?
Whoa, I can't even see the comments. What does that mean? A hybrid of what?
No, dude. What are you guys talking about? What a hybrid?
Oh my gosh, maybe I should get on Facebook real quick and see what you guys are talking about. Or not Facebook, but the tube of views.
No, don't open it up because they will just lag you out. Your connection's already. I don't know what they're talking about. Some people are just out to lunch.
Well, I think I'm a hybrid. Does that mean like with an animal? Or are you talking about like a hybrid? Like I'm an angelic being? Like
James, what do you mean, bro? Can you elaborate a little bit?
No judge zone. I'm just trying to figure out.
I think it's because I don't know, just because she's into like, maybe it's because you were talking about that demon hunting game, but I like watching those like paranormal shows too because I know that they're real now. So it's like that stuff strengthened my faith. Like, but when I was on the fence before I was like a Christian, because like if demons are real, then angels and God is real. So yeah, for sure. And just because maybe a lot of girls and young girls like to watch stuff like Supernatural and stuff, and I don't think that means she's like a hybrid. Like, what does that even mean?
No, I really liked Supernatural. Like I've cried several times watching Supernatural. Like you just fall in love with their story. I'm not gonna say the first 4 seasons are boring, but the show definitely takes off in season 5 when Castiel shows up.
I've never watched the show. I think it's like for girls. It's like a soap opera, isn't it?
No, it's a badass show. I'm sorry, excuse my language. It's a great show about these 2 brothers that just go and fight like the evil together.
Oh, okay. Mark Keenan from Scotland. Dreams can be manipulated by demons. They can give good euphoria feelings and lead people into false teachings. How do you know you're not being deceived in a certain dreams?
I actually was doing a little Bible plan reading earlier before the show, and the Bible actually, God tells us to test. Oh, thank you, Rihanna. God bless you. God tells us to test people and like who give prophecies, and just so we're clear, like prophecy is not just people speaking about the future. Prophecy is also known as speaking truth into people. And so there's actually like 9 ways according to scripture in order to test a prophet. And I'll just go through those with you guys real quick. So number 1 is, does the revelation edify, exhort, or comfort? So is what they're saying, describing to you, is it teaching, instructing, or improving morally, like improving people morally? That's what edify means. Exhort means, is it encouraging others to do something? I've been having these dreams so these like super godly dreams I've been having since 2017, since I graduated high school and I accepted Jesus Christ into my heart. Like I lived in a godly home, like a super godly home at this point in time, and I started having all these dreams.
What's your favorite
back
Bible?
to this. And then
Colin was wondering what your favorite Bible verses are, if you have any.
So confession. I am not a super, like my memory is really bad because of my sleep disorder. Like there's a lot of my childhood that I just don't remember, sadly, but one Bible verse that I remember, and I can't recall it word for word, so I'm so sorry, look it up, but it's Ecclesiastes 7:3, and it's something along the lines of crying is good for your heart. So
that's a nice answer. I'm just trying to get some questions banged out, Bella. And you're actually doing really good because I don't even have to ask. You just already read them and answer them. You see them on the screen and trying
to be active.
I think Nix is pro-vax master. I've heard him say it in an earlier video.
Choose what we're
Nope,
talking about.
but that's not really on the subject, but I don't know if you know how YouTube works and who runs YouTube, but they have very liberal agendas. And if you even like suggest anything wrong against vaccinations on this channel, they will terminate your channel like instantly. Like
Wow.
they're trying to combat the anti-vax movement like so big time. So that's why I don't get into vaccinations. And actually, Parisha, I have said before that I myself personally do not take vaccines, haven't taken vaccines, never get a flu shot. If you want to get your kids like in the hospital, yeah, babies, they need certain vaccines or they'll die, like straight
Mhm.
up. You're doing your child a major disservice if you don't get your newborns like vaccinated with certain things, I think. But like all these like flu shots and unnecessary things, no, I don't take stuff like that. No. If that
I
answers your question.
may I put my 2 cents in about that?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to talk about vaccinations, but I'll use correlation with hand sanitizer and antibacterial soap. Um, Bacterial soap is bad. Don't use it. So, antibacterial soap, like if you use it for so long, like the germs that you touch every day, like those germs will evolve. Viruses and germs evolve just like humans get strong, like our immune system evolves to protect ourselves. Germs and um, viruses evolve so that they can attack. So just keep those things in mind when you're buying products and putting things in your body because it is really important. Always do your research and always pray because God will answer you. Any movies that relate to my dreams?
Do you have a
Yes.
YouTube channel? Oh, I'll let you answer that first. And then if you do have a YouTube channel, Bella, and if you want, I'll put the link in the description and people can check out your channel. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I actually, okay, so I was crying about this yesterday to my brother. I am gonna start a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel now. Just like click on my name or whatever and follow me. But I may need some accountability help here because I do think it's important that I start posting these dreams online so that it can just get out there and so people can see about it.
Well, I'd
So,
like to have you back on the show
but for
sometime too. So if you ever want to come back and talk, people were enjoying you. I'm enjoying you. So we'll definitely have you come back on sometime and tell another story if you want.
thanks, yeah, I'd love to.
What were those movies that you were? Did you want to answer that?
Any movies? Yeah. Okay. So the only thing that I can really honestly think of that relates to it is the movie 2012 because they just like the world just falls apart and breaks apart. It's just a mass destruction movie. I mean, you really have to pick apart and see like if you pay attention to Hollywood, they tell you like they're their own prophets almost. Like not their prophets, but like it's like low key prophets of the Lord, like telling people like what's going to be happening in the future. Like my uncle tells me that anything that you ever see in a movie that has technology involved, it already exists. Human beings cannot make up their own things. Like you can't. It's anything that you think of, it's happened before. It's impossible to think of something new nowadays. Um, so anything that you see in movies is already a technology device that's in use today. You just don't have access to it. So check out some like prophetic movies. Just like type in some prophetic movies or whatever. You'll find some really cool stuff. I'm sure you will.
I think this guy got here late, but I don't know if you want to go through your whole dream again. But you could briefly tell him what it was like.
I will briefly.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I was in this camp here, okay, and they were all white tents, and people were not. I don't think people were living here, but we were there for a short amount of time, and we were watching the stars, and the moon was blue in the sky, and there were so many stars in the sky. It looked beautiful, and then all of a sudden, like the moon was just gone, or it was black. I'm not sure. I just couldn't see the moon anymore. But where the moon was supposed to be, all the stars started going in a circle, super duper fast, and made shapes like this in forms of rings. And so there were like these weird shapes that you see here. And I
Yeah,
kind of
and
made it bigger down here so that y'all can see it.
what did you call those shapes? Crow something?
Cuneiform. It's a form
Yeah,
of archaic writing. It's actually the first form of writing that we find in any civilization, which I actually did some research for you guys. Cuneiform, there are two types of cuneiform, okay? There's lolograms and syllabary. So a lologram is just a character representing a word like
I'll screen share it for you
Egyptian.
guys.
And then the other type of cuneiform is syllabary. So syllabary is just symbols for symbols, like the Japanese used, like the Cherokee used, and a lot of Sumerian and Maya texts use cuneiform.
Cuneiform. How do you spell it?
CUN.
CUN.
EI.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Boom. Cool. You guys see that? I was looking at these little squiggly things, and when she showed me that picture, it kind of did look like cuneiform. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Yeah. But after that, some disaster struck and people were freaking out all over the place. I don't know what happened, but after some research and after some praying, I think God was telling me that it was God. Because if you look at the cuneiform, like the closest thing, because that's just what my human mind can remember and draw. Because I'm not an artist, I'm not like 5,000 years old. Like I don't know cuneiform. Like that's just to my best ability what I could remember and write it down for you guys. But it means God is what it means, is what I wrote down. So, and it was super important, obviously, because it just kept zooming, like forming in and out of shape, that specific shape over and over again. So the Lord is coming soon, guys. It's awesome.
The Lord is coming soon. Yeah. Any more questions, you guys, before we wrap this up? Any questions for the lovely Bella?
Thank you.
Well, Bella, wait, here we go. Question for Nick and Bella. Do you think we're in the end times, on the door of tribulation? And are you pre-wrath or final trumpet? Well, me, I don't really know. I've heard both arguments on the tribulation and like if that's what you're talking about. But I definitely think we're in the end times. But God, I think, well, God does exist outside of time. So no one knows the hour, the final hour when he's going to come. It says in the Bible. So maybe it's going to be in 5 years, 10 years, maybe it's going to be in 100 years from now. But are we in the end times? Yes. Are we in the birth pains? Yes. Has it started? Definitely. You have to ignore all the signs that are happening around the world. I mean, Bella?
A lot of people say ignorance is bliss, but God tells us that ignorance will kill you. Not in those exact words, and I don't know the exact verse. I'm sorry, guys. You'll have to do your own research and find it. But I honestly do believe we're in the end times. But in retrospect, the prophets from after Jesus died thought that they were in the end times where we think we are now, and that's just the Holy Spirit. Like the Holy Spirit will just make you see that Jesus is coming soon. And we don't really know how long Revelations will last or how long it will be. Like the horsemen have been on the earth for years. Like the horsemen have been on earth since before Jesus was here. Like there's always been wars, there's always been famines, there's always been disease and pestilence. Like those things have been around for a long time. But you cannot deny the fact. You cannot deny the fact that what we are seeing today matches up with what we see right before the trumpet sounds. Like it's insane. Like, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I mean, it's kind of scary for people who don't know Christ, and like I pray for those people, but Jesus is coming very soon, you guys. And like I don't think snow will be on the ground. God says pray that it doesn't happen when snow is on the ground, and I don't think it will happen. And I'm not saying it's this year, I'm not saying it's next year, I'm not saying it's 5 years from now. But I'm telling you right now, I do think that it's going to be in a fall or springtime when things like this do happen because of just what I've seen.
Yeah, ignorance and no excuse.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4:6 for sure. Yeah. how did Bella come to faith? Sorry if she already said it. I wasn't watching earlier.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I grew up. My family was Christian, but like I only went to church when my aunt and uncle took me to church. So I really didn't come to God on my own until I was like 17 because I was in a really abusive relationship at that time, and I was just like, all right, God, if you're real, like get me out of this. Like I don't want to leave my boyfriend and blah blah blah. Ended up leaving him, and I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna seek you. So I started reading my Bible a lot, and I it was funny because like a couple days after I broke up with him, my best friend at the time kept calling me, would call me for like the 2 years previous of that, and just asked me to go on this road trip with her to this youth convention up in northern Iowa where they have like an ice skating rink. It's pretty cool. Um, and the last 2 years I had told her no, but that year I said, okay, whatever. I don't have a boyfriend anymore. I'll go. Um, and it was just a weekend event. The first 2 days, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like they got live music, talking about Jesus. Like I've been reading about Jesus. Like this is pretty cool. Um, but I really, this is amazing. It was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my life. The last day we were there was when I felt the Holy Spirit move me because it was like the last song we were singing was crazy. And I didn't even know what altar calls were at the time, but that's what they were doing. And the guy was talking up there and started playing music. And I was just like standing there. And all of a sudden, like I just started lifting my hands and worshiping God. And I didn't know the music, but I was just like, my spirit was so into it, you know? And I literally felt someone, or like it's probably the Holy Spirit, honestly, like grab my shirt like this, and like I was in the middle of a row section. So like pulled me out of the section and pulled me up to the front and like slam me down on slam kind of sounds like really crazy, but it felt like that, like it just slammed me on the ground onto my knees, and I was just praying to God crazy, like, God, like forgive me of all my sins, like I want to right any of my wrongs. I want to seek you. Like I want you to come into my life. I accept you. Come into my heart. Um, and as I was thinking those things and praying it in my head, like this lady came up behind me. I have no idea who she was, but this lady came up behind me, was started speaking in tongues, and as soon as she touched me, I felt like this, like just like a wave just enter my body from my head, and I felt it all the way down until it reached my toes, and it was the Holy Spirit. Like obviously, like what else would it be? Um, but that was my most beautiful meeting with Jesus that I've ever had in my life. Like I've never experienced something like that since. That was so amazing. Like so that's how I came to accept Jesus into my heart and into my life. I was going through a rough patch, and I think most people do go through rough patches in life when they meet God. Like God makes us go through a storm so that we can see his beauty at the end of it, you know? I have a
Yeah,
primary.
sure,
What's
Bella.
the primary doctrine?
Well, Nick, Bella, we have bad echo there. Well, Mark, people have been arguing since the beginning of time, pretty much, over these primary doctrines in the Bible. I mean, Bella's young, and as long as in my opinion, as long as she believes in the triune God, Jesus, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and that Jesus died for her salvation, and she trusts fully in Jesus Christ, I'd say she has it right. And dreams are a hard thing for anybody to interpret. Like she's not saying everything she's saying is like 100% gospel truth. She's just telling us her dreams, and we're just really listening to her story, right? You can take it as you want to take it. I guess that's my answer to that.
There are people out there who have the gift of discernment, and if you know someone who has it, show them the video. I bet they could probably discern what's coming out of my mouth. That's why they have that spiritual gift. Um, and let Nick know about it because I'm sure he'd love to hear about that.
Yeah.
But as I was saying earlier, like God tells us in the Bible, test what these prophets are saying, and there are um, nine tests according to Scripture that test what prophets say. One, does it edify? Does it exhort? Or does it comfort? Which are all good things from the Lord. Is it an agreement with God's written word? I don't know about you, but before I read Revelation, that crazy dream that I had with like the blood falling from the sky, like it didn't even look like blood. Like it was just like this weird red orange color. There was chaos going on. Like I think it's crazy that I had that dream before I'd even read Revelations or even heard anything about that, because up until that point, before I read it, all that I knew about Revelations was that Jesus is coming back. That's it. That's all I knew. Um, Number 3, does it exalt Jesus Christ? Am I exalting Jesus Christ? I love Jesus. Jesus is my best friend. He has been my best friend since I was little. He's always been there for me when I've been in the darkest, loneliest place. He was my father when I didn't have my dad around growing up. Like, I love the Lord and I seek him daily. Like, we all
Yeah.
struggle, we all fall short of the Lord, but God knows your heart and he does test your spirit, because
Yeah, you
he
don't have
tests
to
your
explain
spirit.
your. Sorry. It's hard to not cut people off
Go ahead, it's okay.
with the delay and everything. I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah, you don't have to defend your faith to anyone really. Like what you said, you love Jesus and God with all your heart, and
Yeah.
it's not for other people to judge you. It even says in the Bible, you can't judge anyone until your Father judges you when you die. Like we are all one equal before God. So everybody in here is going to be judged the exact same way when we meet him at the end, right? So that's all I got to say about that. And
Well,
Kanani 808, thank you so much for the sticker, $10 super sticker. Thank you. What were you saying, Bella?
I wasn't trying to defend
Oh,
myself. I was just trying to explain like Jesus to me. But I just want to finish this list real quick for you guys, Nick.
of course.
So the 4th test that comes from Scripture is, does what they're saying bear good fruit? So, or does their character bear good fruit? Um, which I don't think any of you guys that are watching right now truly know me, but I think my friends and my family would probably see that I'm bearing good fruit. But that's for God to judge anyways. Um, Number 5, if it predicts a future event, does it come to pass? So we still have to wait for it to come to pass. Number 6, does it turn others towards God or away from God? Number 7, does it produce liberty, which is the power to act as one chooses? Or does it give people bondage? Um, I don't feel like a slave. I hope you guys don't feel like a slave, because I try to act as a servant of the Lord as best as I can. Number 8, does it produce life or bring death? And then number 9, does the Holy Spirit bear witness that it's true? So to each their own, question. Oh, when I praise and worship at home.
Not everybody listens to praise and worship music. It's okay if you don't. I don't all the time. Like I have listened to like a couple, but it's not really what I listen
I'm
to all
probably
the
about to
time.
get a little. I'm probably about to get judged a little bit for this, but I listen to all avenues of music, including like heavy metal. I almost messed up there and said screamo, because it's not screamo, it's heavy metal. Um, I listen to everything. um, but recently, I've really been into elevation worship, and I've been really into Hillsong, and I've super duper been into Kanye West new gospel music, because like honestly, like I've cried from some of his songs just while I'm singing in my car and jamming out and just praising the Lord in my car, and I just tears just start pouring down my face. I'm just like, God is so awesome. Like he turned someone like Kanye West to see the face of God. That is amazing. Like if anybody's listened to any of Kanye's old music, like it's just amazing that he is listening, is like making music for the Lord now. Like think of all the thousands of people that he's going to be able to turn to Jesus. Justin Bieber and Chance the Rapper are also really good Christian artists right now. They just made a new song recently called Holy, I think it's called. That one's pretty good right now. It's one of my faves right now, but my music favorites change like weekly. I also just discovered this it's a new genre of music to me, but it's called bubble. What is it called? It's called bubble indie rock. That's like
Bubble
it's
indie
like
rock.
yeah, bubble indie rock, and it's like that it's like hippie folk music is what it is basically, is how like I interpret it.
You
But
weren't
it's really
joking when you said you listen to everything. Eh?
no, I wasn't joking.
I've never even
So
heard of bubble indie rock before.
I know. I actually just I asked Google one day. I was like, "What kind of music is this?" And that's what it said it was, and I was like, "Okay, I can dig bubble indie rock." Like, um, but I don't just listen to Christian music. Like, I listen to all avenues of music, because God speaks through everything and everyone. You just have to listen.
I'm bad. I grew up listening to rap, like Tupac, Biggie, like all that, Eazy-E, like
Tupac has some Christian music too.
the worst possible stuff you could imagine. Yeah, I still listen to Tupac and stuff sometimes. I grew up with it. It's hard to get out of that, especially at the gym. It's really good for I work out to that kind of stuff. I don't know. Although Hillsong, they've got some couple songs that get me pumped up when I'm working out too. The church I used to go to, the Baptist church, has a huge like live. I've only been there like twice, and I don't really go to church often, but they have a huge like live music and like a live band and like a really good live band, and they do like cover songs of the Hillsongs and everything. The Baptist churches really like the Hillsongs. Yeah. Well, Bella, you're amazing. I want to have you come back on here sometime, okay?
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'll stay in touch with you on Facebook, and we'll try and line up another show. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great, Nick.
If you have any more dreams or anything, let me know.
Yes, I will let you know.
Make sure you write them down. I want you to try and draw. I wish you'd draw a picture of that astronaut type figure that you've seen.
I'll try and describe it to my brother and have him draw it. I'm even lucky that those tents turned out so nice, honestly.
Okay, so. Get your brother to draw it then. Okay, guys, so this was Bella. This was her End Times Dreams. Let's thank her. She was kind and sweet, and she did a good job. And I think I want to have her come back on and tell another story, or even just hang out sometime when I'm doing live streams. Sometimes I don't like to do it alone. I bring Melvin, a couple guests. So if you ever are bored and you got nothing to do, or maybe, do you have Skype?
I'll probably have to make
No, you don't. Well, you don't need it. Facebook Messenger is like the same, right? I just usually get a hold of people on Skype when I'm doing my shows, but it's okay if you don't. Okay. Anyone have any more last questions? If not, we're going to shut this thing down. Thanks for coming, Bella, she says.
Yeah, thanks guys for listening.
Everyone in the chat can see what there's. Yeah, I guess that's it. So thank you, Bella. Oh, Mark C. Thanks, Bella. God bless.
God bless you guys.
Victoria Russell, shut it down. Sorry, it's been like an hour and 45 minutes, and my gym is only open for a couple more hours. Yeah, so unless you guys got any more questions, that's it. No more questions? All right, Bella, you're amazing. We're going to stay in touch, and I want you to come back. Thank you so much for sharing your dreams and drawing. You did a really good job. I really enjoyed listening to your stories. It was entertaining, especially the dogs crawling across the hardwood floor. I think I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Thank you, but yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, Bella, you have a good one. I'm definitely gonna bring you back.
Thank you. Have a nice night, guys.
God bless you. Nice meeting you face to face.
Yes, you as well.
Okay, guys, that was Bella. So pretty interesting dreams, eh? Pretty interesting story. I liked her. She was cool. I think we should have her back on the show sometime. What do you guys think? I don't really agree with her choice of music, but hey, she's a young girl, and whatever. Young girls listen to pretty weird music. Curtis Martin, you come to all my shows, but you like hate me. It's really funny. I think, Curtis, something is making you come here, man. God, he's making you come here. You know in your heart that you're wrong about what you're saying when you know, Black Hebrew, all white people should die. Like, come on. You got to know that God is not a racist God of hatred, man. There's a reason you're coming to all my streams, isn't there? Oh, Curtis. You're funny. Well, thanks for coming, bro. You're putting my numbers up anyway. You're helping me in the YouTube algorithm. So either way, you're still helping me. Even if you give me a thumbs down, it still counts it as activity in the algorithm. So thank you. Your hatred is actually helping my channel, Curtis. Curtis has the gospel. It's just twisted. Just like most cults, they twist it. I'm going to share, actually have this guy who made a really awesome documentary about the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. It's 2 hours long. He breaks down all the genealogy, has all the historical evidence, starts off with like who started it in the 70s, how it started. He breaks down all the chains of the movements. I'm been talking to him and I'm trying to get him on the show. I'm going to see if he'll let me share the documentary. It's really good. So, yeah. It is a cult, Melvin, and I'm going to prove it. Black Hebrew Israelism is a cult and it is false, and they were not the real Hebrews. It's been proven by historians and scholars again and again. So I don't want to argue with you, but there is no truth to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. I am sorry, but it's true. I'm sorry, but it's true. Anyway, you guys have a good night. I'm going to do an episode about the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. I'm going to prove everything I said. And you're welcome to come on, Melvin, and try and refute it, but it's pretty unrefutable. It's actual history going all the way back thousands of years in Israel. And yes, you guys have a good one. I love you guys, and we'll see y'all at the next show.